What's going on, Tiger fans? I'm John Czech, and welcome back to another edition of the Hot Corner, which is an in-depth look at Detroit Tigers baseball. So, it's time to discuss a hot topic here in the Motor City this year, and there is a lot of uneasiness about Bruce Rondon potentially being the Detroit Tigers closer. There was players out on the free agent market this year. You know, you had Brian Wilson, you had Ryan Madsen, a lot of players that a lot of Tiger fans wanted people to go get to potentially be the new Tiger and Tiger closer and essentially the heir to Jose Vavlerde, who was the Tigers closer over the last few years. Rondon, if you don't know, is one of the Tigers' top prospects. He's 22 years old, and this kid is a stud. He's had problems with walks over the last few years. He's brought his walk rate down tremendously from when he first began in 2008 as a 17-year-old till now. And there's really nothing left for Bruce Rondon to prove in the minors. Last year, between A, AA, and AAA, he had a 1.53 ERA. He appeared in 52 games, and he had 29 saves. And in 53 innings, he struck out 66 guys. His walk rate was a bit high at 4.4, but he struck out 11 guys per 9 innings. So this kid he's just dominated, and there's nothing really left for him to prove in the minors that, can he close ball games? Because obviously in the minors, he can do it. He's just dominating at every level he's appeared at in the minor leagues, so there's nothing left for him to do. And with a lot of Tiger fans saying, he's too young, he shouldn't be up, let him get more polished, there's nothing really for him left to do down there. So Dave Dombrowski made it clear that they were going to give Bruce Rondon all the chances they possibly could from spring training on to become the closer. And Bruce Rondon has not pitched in a game yet. His first game he will appear in will be Saturday when they play the Braves at Joker Marchant Stadium. And the job is essentially his to lose. And he's going to have to pitch extremely bad for him not to be as a closer. And I think he's going to do really good in spring training because, in spring training, especially early on, after the 5th, 6th inning, you're going to see a lot of these guys that you faced already in AA, AAA because, the manager switched the lineup so much. But I like the idea of Bruce Rondon closing games. He's a hard thrower. He throws over 100 miles an hour. I saw him in the Futures game. He just looked absolutely dominant against the game's best young prospects. But a lot has been made of his walks and that his secondary stuff is not that great yet. Jeff Jones, the Tigers pitching coach, had said it looks like he has an above-average changeup and a good slider, but he needs to develop it more. Right now, he's essentially kind of like Joel Zumaya. He's a real hard fastball guy, but has a better delivery than Zumaya does, so hopefully, knock on wood, we don't have Joel Zumaya version 2 who gets injured every year after playing Guitar Hero. But I like the idea of Rondon closing games. A lot of people say with the inexperience and how young he is, he will not be effective on a winning ball club. Well, Craig Kimbrell in 2011 was on an Atlanta Braves team. They did not make the playoffs, but he was very impressive. He set the rookie saves record with 46 saves. He had a 2.10 ERA, won Rookie of the Year. Now, I know that Kimbrell did not pitch that great in September, and you could use that as an argument, but still, he only blew, I think, 4 or 5 saves that season, and he was very effective. And then last year, his ERA was almost sub-1. Had 42 saves, led the NL. His whip dropped to 0.654. And then you go look at a guy like Andrew Bailey. I know he wasn't on a contender in 2009, but, he had, for his first 2 years in the league, he had a combined ERA of 170 and saved a little over 50 games. And then Neftali Feliz, he was on a contending team his first year, and he had set the rookie saves record with 40. So it can be done, young closers pitching on competitive teams, to essentially be a good, effective closer. Now, don't be surprised if Rondon does struggle a little bit. This should be no surprise. Tiger fans were spoiled in 2011 when Vavlerde saved, 51 straight games, including the postseason. You're not going to see that every single year. And last year when Vavlerde struggled, and I think he blew 5 saves, everyone was like, oh my God, it's the end of the world, it's the end of the world. It's like, no. You were so spoiled to seeing Vavlerde taking the ball every ninth, whenever the situation was, not blowing a save, and that's what you're used to seeing. But essentially that's the closest job. It just does not happen where you see a perfect year after year like that. It just does not happen. And when he struggled, it was the end of the world. And now if Bruce Rondon comes up here and blows a few saves, he's not going to get a fair chance because there's always going to be the second guessing of, well, they should have got this guy, they should have got this guy, he needs to be down there, and Rondon should not be closing. But here's what's going to happen. I guarantee you Rondon is the closer out of camp. Rondon is going to blow a few saves. You don't come up as a 22-year-old and say he gets 47 chances and save all 47 chances. He is going to blow 3 to 5 saves. And I think league average for blown saves is somewhere in between 3 to 5 saves. And I think he's going to blow that many saves, but this is just growing pains. Because if you do not let him come up and pitch and learn, what are you going to do? What are you going to want to do? You want to keep sending him down until the Tigers are terrible, and then, oh, let's bring up a closer that we have no need for because we're not a competitive club anymore, so it's okay if you blow some saves. Bring this kid up, give him some chances, give him some innings, put him under the bright lights in the 9th inning at Comerica Park in a one-run game, and see what he does. Essentially, you do this, he learns. Essentially, you could have a Craig Kimbrell version number 2 on your hands where you got a guy now, you hand him the ball, you know the game's over with. Now, I'm not saying Bruce Rondon's going to be Craig Kimbrell, because Craig Kimbrell, he's on another level. He is as elite can get, and the Braves got a diamond that's going to be great for the next 10, 15 years. So I'm not saying Bruce Rondon is Craig Kimbrell or Neftali Feliz when he was a closer. Not at all. I'm just saying you have to give this guy some chances to come up, prove himself, and see how he can do on a competitive club, and see how he can do under the bright lights at a major league ballpark, because there's nothing left for him to prove in the minors. Now, I would like to see his walk rate go down. Sure, everyone would. But you got to give him a chance. And there is other options to if Rondon does fail. You could go see what Albuquerque could do. You could see what Phil Coke could do because he did good in the playoffs, even though I would be very hesitant. I'm more hesitant about giving Phil Coke the job than Bruce Rondon. You could give Octavio Dotel the job. You could see what happens at Benoit. Or you could do closer by committee, what Leland was doing for a little bit. So there is fallback plans, even though the fallback plan B is not as good as let's cross our fingers and hope Rondon is good. But I'm just saying, Tiger fans need to settle down, stop with all this uneasiness. I get your point that Rondon's young. There's a lot of ifs with him. How is he going to do with his walk rates? How is he going to react to a major league lineup? But how do you know? Rondon could come in this year and be a flat-out stud and prove everyone wrong how good he is, but he could also blow up. But I'm going to go out on a limb and say he does a pretty good job. I think he's going to blow 3 to 5 saves, like I said, and I think he's going to have ERA probably just a tad over 3, maybe even in the mid-3s. Because, like I said, a young guy, and he's going to be up in the majors for the first time, is going to see some struggles a little bit. It's just inevitable. Everyone struggles from time to time. It's the good ones that come over the slumps and come out and do even better. And I think that's what Rondon's going to do. Because you got a guy that throws 100+, has a pretty good changeup, a good slider, and as you give him more and more experience, you just polish him up. Who knows what you got with Rondon here in the future. You could be looking at your future closer for the next 8 years. And all because you gave him this opportunity now to learn and become better. So you can't keep babying this kid, and you can't keep pushing him down because you're scared that just because we have a World Series caliber club, we can't have a rookie closer to potentially lock down games for us. So I approve of Bruce Rondon, and I hope this move works. And I think it's going to pan out in the long run, and right now that it's going to be a good move. And there is a backup plan, but let's just hope Rondon pans out. So I'm John Czech. Thanks for watching another edition.